We are the restaurant brokers, and we sell restaurants.
We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm over a decade ago.
Atlanta, Georgia was our starting point, but our brand is spreading nationwide. We define restaurant brokerage and help buyers just like these.
Our dream, our goal, open up a restaurant, loving life, serving people breakfast and lunch, and then enjoying the rest of the day with them and ourselves.
Buying an existing restaurant, leasing a closed restaurant space, or purchasing a restaurant franchise. We help buyers satisfy their appetite for acquisition.
I'm part of a husband and wife team with this fella.
Working with my wife has been a lot of fun. The ultimate goal for everybody here is to make this work. And because we have different strengths, we bring different angles to the deal.
The process begins with our powerhouse website, WeSellRestaurants.com, where buyers sign online confidentiality agreements and browse restaurants for sale.
Then we send buyers undercover to check out a restaurant and decide if it's the right one for them.
Buyers get our proprietary business analysis tool with all the financial details on the business for sale.
After studying the restaurant inside and out, it's back to our office.
We are deal makers. We write contracts and negotiate terms for buyers and sellers. That's why we sell more restaurants than any other firm in the nation. We are the restaurant brokers. Our name says it all. I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Eric Gagnon, and we sell restaurants. We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm, We Sell Restaurants, over a decade ago. You can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com.
That's not all. We're also on your radio once a week with the leading authorities in the restaurant industry talking about subjects trending in the business. Tweet your own questions while we're on the air. You know our Twitter handle. It's @SellRestaurants. Post on our Facebook page, Facebook.com We Sell Restaurants. If we don't get to your question, we'll follow up on social media.
Our goal is to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. If you have any comments or any great ideas for the show, you can email me. My email is Eric, E-R-I-C, @WeSellRestaurants.com.
Today's show is all about what restaurants do to attract diners. We are finding out from the experts ways to both serve and delight customers. Experts in the field and restaurant owners are figuring out how to expand on the dining experience to include entertainment. There just may be aspects to dining out that you're missing, so we are going to give you the inside scoop today.
And to do just that, our first guest today is Jennifer Jackson-Outlawa, a freelance writer, food blogger, and Dishcrawl Brand Ambassador. Her work has appeared in such diverse publications as East Coast Home and Design Magazine and The Urban Coin. She has also worked with brands such as One Medical Group and Chef Wendy Brody. When not working with other clients, she regularly blogs at The Gourmet Goober, as well as hosts foodie events for Dishcrawl. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
Our next guest is Alan Muskat, a philosoforager, stand-up mycomedian, and epicure of the obscure, and he did write that. He's been taking people out to eat for 20 years. He founded the first forage-to-table offering in the U.S. and the first public education program for wild foods in the world. Author of Wild Mushrooms, A Taste of Enchantment, Muskat has popped up on the Travel Channel's Bizarre Foods, the History Channel, PBS, CBS, and in Southern Living, Fodors, Travel+Leisure, Conde Naste Traveler, The New Yorker, The Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, Country Living, Forbes, and Inc.com. He's even preached on Voice of America, and now he's joining us today on the We Sell Restaurants radio show. Welcome to our show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And our third guest is Dora Herrera from Yuca's Los Angeles iconic family-owned and operated Mexican eatery. It is the first taco stand to be honored with much coveted James Beard Award in America's Classic category. Launched in April of 1976, Yuca's have received accolades from local, national, and international reviewers. These best accolades, however, comes from the chefs who choose to eat at Yuca's on their dime. Now that I've taken the baton from my mom, the creators of Yuca's, my goal is to never be finished building our business and continually create a business that brings your pleasure and feelings of coming home. Thank you for joining us today, Dora.
Good morning. I'm ready to share some tasty bits with you guys.
Oh, love that.
I like that.
And also from Yuca's is Fernando Lopez. You know, these days you can get just about everything on wheels, tacos, ice creams, cupcakes, even grilled cheese. They actually thought you had seen it all until now, and they have launched a mobile version of their favorite beverages. And the van was started by Fernando Lopez, who, along with his family, runs one of Los Angeles' best mole restaurant, Okay, I can't do that one, Fernando. You're going to have to tell us the name, and welcome aboard.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's actually Guelaguetza. The U is silent, so that makes it easier.
Okay, perfect. Well, what a great roster of guests we have this morning. And, keeping customers coming back is probably one of the biggest challenges that restaurant owners are facing today. So I want to hear from each one of you how you are doing unusual and entertaining things to build customer loyalty. Dora, how about you start us off?
Okay, I'd love to. One of the things we like to do is to build customer loyalty. And a friend of mine has a tour bus, so we decided that we would treat our customers to where we like to eat after the door's shut. So we created the bus tour called Yuca's Eats LA. We sold tickets to about 25, 30 customers, and everybody hopped on the bus, and we just went from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. Now, imagine taking eager customers on a gastronomic tour of places their favorite chef likes to visit. And so we would stop, and we know the chefs at most of these restaurants. In fact, quite a few are our customers. And our regulars just loved the feeling of being part of the in-crowd when we arrived, and they were treated like VIPs. And then, of course, the food was terrific.
So that's very interesting. You don't see these other restaurants as competitors. You're actually taking your clients and pushing them out to other doors. I love that idea. So, Alan, you do something a little bit different because you just have such an unusual offering. Folks come to you. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, we take people out also, but out in the woods is where we go. And I partner with restaurants who cook up what we find. So we take guests in small groups out foraging because Asheville, where I'm based, is surrounded by national forests. And when we're done, the guests can make a reservation and go to a restaurant and walk in, and the chef will prepare on the spot what they have brought in for free. So it's an appetizer that they get, and then they pay for the dinner and whatever they order that they stay after, they stay for dinner and eat.
That's a very interesting spin as well. Jennifer, what do you think of these new offerings?
You know what? I think it's brilliant, and I really, from my experiences working with Dishcrawl and creating kind of foodie events, working together with other restaurants, I think that the way that they're doing that pretty much is the way that I would recommend for any restaurant trying to attract customers. The fact remains is what really, I think, creates a memorable experience for diners is to experience something they've never had before, either it's a new dish or a new type of eating experience, especially with, I think, treating the customers like a VIP. I think that's a brilliant idea with the tour bus. I do a little bit something similar when I organize my dish crawls. So one of the things that I do is I work for anywhere between 3 to 4 restaurants, and we try to come up with almost like a traveling dinner. So at each location, they will get a sample of their signature dishes, getting an opportunity to meet the chefs personally and find out what went into the creation of each dish, and with the understanding that they'll have maybe an entree here, an appetizer there, and then at the last location, we usually have a dessert. So the idea is to introduce the diners to as many different dining experiences as possible, usually under a central theme such as a bacon crawl or something along those lines to really dazzle them and inspire them to come back for more.
Now, is this your customer? Is it a little different? Are these first-time customers that come to you for a surprise, or they're more like people who already know about these places and want to go back? How do you create that opportunity for new people to bring to restaurants?
You know what? We use the element of surprise in how we organize our events. So usually when someone signs up with one of our events, we give them a taste, usually utilizing tools such as traditional media and social media to announce where the first location is where they're meeting. And from there, we usually let them know prior to going to the next location, which we usually schedule them everything within walking distance where they're going next.
You know, a little twist on that is instead of going out to the restaurant, you invite a guest chef in to stir the pot. They can be well-known chefs or wannabe chefs, or even a customer that claims that they can make a dish better than you.
I love that idea.
And the regulars come in, they have fun with a new and exclusive menu. The guest chefs invite their customers to your restaurant, providing you with a lot of new potential regulars to convert, and then you are the catalyst for everyone's good time. So it's just a really fun win-win situation.
So, Alan, Oh, I'm sorry. Who was going to jump in there?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I really love that idea. In fact, we're experimenting with that on the East Coast where we're having chef battles, if you will. So basically, it's a restaurant, but we're incorporating in either normally a new chef, we pair them with someone who's just out of culinary school. And again, just as you say, challenge them in order to create a dish. So I love that idea, and I think that it definitely gives an up-and-coming person in the culinary field a chance to showcase what they know.
So, Alan, your whole premise is built around this kind of foraging idea. Do you think that today's customer is so intrigued by the idea of food and so knowledgeable, and they really want this experience outside of just the basic sit down, order from a menu, one and done type of thing? Is that what forms the passion for that customer to come into a situation like yours?
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing in all these ideas is a sense of involvement, and sort of ownership, and not just, literally being a consumer, but taking a hand in it. I mean, if you look at the slow food movement, whether it's just for, to ensure that you have better, healthier food, people want to have, know where it comes from. Of course, when you forage, you see it from, dirt to plate, so to speak. But the same is, the same is true of any farm to table. And, I just take it to sort of an extreme. But I think these collaborative ideas and, cooking with the chef, they're just different stages on that continuum, like you say, of being involved.
And let me ask you a little bit of different perspectives. I know every listener here that either wants to be in the business or is in the business does not say, hey, I got enough customers, no more for me. Everybody wants more customers. So to attract new customers, what are some of the different things that you guys have tried maybe that work and some that may not have been? I mean, you talk about your events here and you talk about social media and people think, oh, yeah, just create an event, put it on social media and they will come. But I think there's more to the recipe than that. Fernando, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, sure. When it comes to events and social media, like you said, everybody always assumes that it's easy, but what people fail to mention is that first you have to get at target people who are going to disseminate your message and help you do it. Key friends, key players, bloggers, writers, people who have influence within the industry and who have followers. Because you as a single person, you have your own reach, but the goal of any event is to get beyond that. So what you really want to do is get at key people within your community and within the industry who's going to help you. What we do is, what I did at the Guelaguetza is I created the MicheMobile, which is it's a 69 Volkswagen bus. The top opens up, and it's got a TV, speakers, and inside it's got a DJ booth, and on the outside it's got 4 working beer taps. So what we did with that is create kind of a...
Is this for sale, Fernando? Is this for sale?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah, exactly.
Party's going to your house, baby.
There you go.
It's an experience, people automatically want to take pictures with it. People automatically want to tell their friends about it. So another key to events is to actually create an event, not just a thing to go to, but it's an event in and of itself. You can do that with a MicheMobile, or you can do it with lots of different things, performers.
Also, we have some friends that started an event called the Taste of Mexico, and it was 4 restaurants 4 years ago, and this year we had an event with 35 restaurants, several liquor companies, spices, just anything to do with Mexico. And it's wonderful the way it's grown, only because someone had an idea that, hey, all those Mexican restaurants and Latino themed should just get together and have a good time and share everything with everyone. And I think sharing really helps build your customer base. It's not all about me versus them, but how can we please everyone? And there's always enough in this world for everyone to share.
You know, it's interesting. As restaurant brokers, we often have people look at space and they'll go, oh, no, there's too many restaurants there. I don't want to be in that group. And we will often tell them that exactly what you're saying is that, you know, you create this atmosphere by having all these restaurants together, and that, you know, people then want to go to an area, and it doesn't become a competitive situation. It sort of becomes it becomes this organic growth of that's where all the great restaurants are. If I can't get into my favorite, I'm going to try this one or this one or this one. And so you just build a bigger universe of customers. Is that what you think these events are doing?
It becomes a destination area. You know, like, where should we go eat? Oh, we have to go to Los Feliz, because Los Feliz has all the really hot restaurants, and they're all within half a mile of each other. You know, so we don't want Italian, we can get Indian, we can get Mexican, Salvadorian. You know, it just makes the area a destination once you have more and more and more.
Which brings an interesting point.
Always brings more.
Oh. Which brings me to an interesting point. Jennifer, you said, hey, I gathered 3 or 4 restaurants, maybe 5 restaurants together. And, you know, as a restaurant broker, we see that, you know, and the media and the publication, competition is fierce. You know, we compete for the same dollars. And what is the reaction of the owners when they, you know, approached by you, says, hey, I'm going to have, you know, appetizer here, main course here, dessert over here. Would you like to be part of it? What's the initial reaction of a lot of the owners that you're working with?
You know, surprisingly, they're very supportive when they realize all the input and all the support, rather, that we provide them. I mean, yes, they are sharing their diners over the course of one evening with 3 other restaurants, but what they get out of it, and usually in terms of manpower, for example, in terms of social media, we promote each restaurant as far as taking pictures, going to the press, sending out press releases before and after the event. So for them, the way that I usually position it is it's really an opportunity to give you a chance to shine while benefiting from all the affiliate publicity. And usually the way that we do Dishcrawls as well is we try to spotlight on a community. So this is really a way for them not only to attract new people to their restaurants, but usually, for example, I work in Northwest Indiana as well as Chicago. A lot of the activities that these restaurants do are very community-based. They're very active, and a lot of, you know, working with the local high schools and things like that. So we usually build the events around not only benefiting your restaurant, but benefiting your community, introducing new people to the location. And when I sell it from that point of view, they're usually very excited about the opportunity to think beyond themselves, if you will.
So, Alan, you actually take this position of, you know, dirt to table. So you go out, forage with folks. I want to use this question to ask you directly and then have others weigh in. Are kids part of this experience? How do you handle children in that? And then some ideas from the rest of the caller, the folks with us today, to tell us about whether children are part of events that they develop as well.
Yeah, sure. It's probably, for people who haven't heard of this before, the scariest thing they can imagine, to go eat something from the woods in the first place. And yet I teach a lot of kids, and kids are the best foragers you have. And, you know, I get a lot of questions about how do you get kids to eat healthier, you know, eat vegetables and eat mushrooms of all things. And I tell you, if they find them or raise them in a garden themselves, you know, either way, they're excited about eating it. So I do get families going into restaurants where the kids, you know, can't wait to see what they found in this, you know, treasure hunt that they did get served up. And it just changes their palate right there to be, like I said, involved in the production.
So, Dora?
I see kids as customers just waiting to grow up.
Okay.
You know, you have to start young, and you build generations. At Yuca's, we have customers that started coming when they were 2, and they would just have like 1 or 2 smashed beans. And now they're adults, they're getting married, they're having their own children, and they're coming back. And just recently we had 3 generations of customers together at Yuca's. We took photos, we did social media, we ran out and got a balloon and some cake, and kids are great. Kids are your next paycheck waiting to come in. They're wonderful. I mean, of course, they're wonderful kids by themselves. But if you think forward, then, you're training them to become fans of your restaurant.
Jennifer, do you organize any events that have a particular focus on children, or is that always just part of your strategy when you're putting events together?
Well, we take marketing our events very seriously. So we actually have some events that are geared strictly towards mom and families.
Okay.
So we usually call them mommy crawls. Well, we schedule those on Saturday afternoon as opposed to a traditional event, which usually is a Wednesday night. So as you can imagine, due to school applications, very few children attend those events. But the events that we have geared towards families, we take those a little bit differently. We go to the same restaurants. We have a pared down menu, so as opposed to like a menu built around a wine choice, for example, we usually have them incorporate their own fun interpretation of a dish that would be more appropriate for children. And we usually gear those as well around try to incorporate a vegetable, because the idea is we want them to encourage them to think of vegetables as being fun and things like that. And the response has been tremendous. Most parents and kids, we get probably our most return customer for those type of events as well.
Okay. And Fernando, just we have a few minutes left here in this segment. I want to ask you about just if the regular restaurant owner out there is doing nothing but the tired old karaoke and the poker nights and the music and the things that we've seen it, we've done it, the 70s are calling, they want it back. What do you tell them about putting together some fantastic restaurant events? What would be your advice?
My advice is get together with your community, see where you're at. If you have artists around you, invite some artists. You can do a live painting. You have musicians around you, do a night where you switch around the music. Just get the community involved. Because a restaurant, at the end of the day, is a place where you go and congregate. It's very easy to just stay at home and cook a meal. But you go out because you want to try something new and you want to be around people that are like-minded, that inspire you. So what you want to do is inspire your customers to become better people through your food, through your other patrons, through your decor. So just, get really creative. I think when it comes really down to it, creativity is the ruler. And if you can't be creative, then you're dead in the water.
Alan, what do you think of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that hopefully, like, foraging is unusual enough for people, but I've had events as well where I have to go beyond that, and we involve people in the cooking as well. And so we have certain restaurants or probably smaller cafes where they go into the kitchen, and so they show up, an hour or two before dinner, and they get involved with the whole spectrum. So, it's always something new people are looking for, and if they don't get it in, we have about 110 different things we could find in the course of the season. So that in itself makes things new, but sometimes, like Fernando says, you have to arrange an experience that's different as well.
Now, is this something that your customers, you came to you with some ideas, or is this something that you guys kind of listened to them? Or how did you come up with the new spins and new twist?
Alan?
Yeah. Oh, me.
Yeah.
Someone else wanted it.
You, Alan.
I had I had once Christy Hefner, for example, the Playboy CEO. She came to town, a few of her girlfriends, and it turned out she really wanted to cook. And I think that's how, originally I had this idea to go through with that. And I've also had people. Well, what we did was we went to a small cafe and we created a dish out of a chicken of the woods, is what we found that day. So we did sort of a vegetarian version of a chicken dish.
So I love those ideas, and I want to get some other folks to weigh in when we come back after this very, very brief time out. Just keep listening. This is Eric and Robin Gagnon, the Restaurant Brokers. We are on the air, attempting to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serving up a recipe for business success. Today, we're talking about restaurant events with some of the best in the business. Stay tuned.